You may have thought after the Island of Strangers speech, the one-in, one-out migrant deal with the French is supposedly about to be agreed, and this video that has just come out of the French finally getting in the water and puncturing boats, that this government is going to start taking illegal migration seriously. But the story I am about to show you, two stories actually, will show very clearly to you that the Labour government we have is still very much more interested in putting migrants ahead of hard-working Brits. Take a look at this story, ladies and gents. This will infuriate all the taxpayers watching this video. Labour, get this, is going to be giving 60 million quid to asylum seekers to help them fight their asylum claims and to stay in this country. That is a 30% hike in the amount of money that they get in legal fees to help them fight their case to stay in the country. And also, we've got another story, guys. The rebels are ready to keep on rebelling, not just on welfare, but when it comes to migration. Despite the Labour Party having 480 MPs, a huge working majority of 165, they managed to force Starmer to rip apart the welfare bill, take out all the changes that would have saved any money. They're thinking, you know what, we're quite powerful, us backbench MPs. Let's rebel on migration as well. Let's say that this migrant deal with the French, Keir Starmer's about to meet with Macron on Tuesday, by the way, where we're hoping that that deal might be secured and finalised. They are not going to go down without a fight, ladies and gentlemen. The welfare rebels, they're thinking, we can stop this migrant deal with the French as well. And this is about this one-in, one-out deal. I don't know if it will work. And a lot of people have said, don't even bother, not worth trying. I think it's worth a shot. I think we got to try, we got to experiment, try, fail, see what happens, right? I think we should give it a go. But these rebels, they are not going to have it because, of course, they think it's inhumane and cruel to have a deal where we swap migrants with the French. It's too mean on the people who have entered the country illegally. I don't think it's mean. They're not going to get injured and hurt or something. Anyway, let's take a look at these two stories, guys, because this will infuriate you and make you realise that at least until 2029, when there's a chance that reform get in, nothing is going to happen. Nothing is going to happen. So, Labour is going to increase the legal aid fees for asylum seekers by a third. Ladies and gentlemen, a third. It's going up from 47 million quid a year to 61 million quid a year, because apparently this will help speed up the clearing of the backlog. And you know what I say? There's no point clearing the backlog if that means you are going to massively increase the percentage of people in the percentage of asylum claims that you approve. Because what I see the Home Office doing is rubber stamping everyone so that they can get through the list quickly. Yeah? Rather than thinking about the cases carefully and thinking, no, that person should probably be deported, that person shouldn't be here. They're like, let's just approve everyone. Let's give everyone an expensive lawyer so that they can use all the ECHR rules and all of the rest of it to argue their case to stay in this country. And I know that we have legal aid in this country, and the point of that is so that it's not the case that only rich people can afford lawyers. But for me, something with me just doesn't sit right about the idea that someone who's not a British citizen, they've not been born in the country, they haven't come to the country legally, they're just some random Tom, Dick and Harry that's turned up, suddenly they are entitled to your taxpayer cash to pay for a lawyer. But this is just some random person that's turned up in this country. They're not a British citizen, they haven't contributed to this country, they haven't paid taxes in this country or anything. Why are they entitled to a free lawyer? There's something just not right with me about that, and we'll take a look at Alligator Alcatraz in just a moment. But if you just have a very simple rule that, you can't fight a whole asylum claim with all of these human rights laws and all of this, it is as simple as you can only come to this country if you come via a legal route. If you come via an illegal route, doesn't matter what your circumstances are, you are not staying in the country. Simple as. Illegal entry means you've committed a crime, you have no right to stay here. If we just have that, there's no need for all of these lawyers. There's no need for 61 million quid to be wasted on giving these people all of this legal aid so that they can argue their case to stay in the country. If we just have a very clear-cut rule, if you enter illegally, you're not staying, we wouldn't be here, okay? But our government is just way too soft to leave the ECHR and have a policy like that. Let's look at the details of the migrant rebellion about this one in, one out policy. So Sir Keir Starmer is facing a fresh wave of dissent from backbenchers over his deal with the French, the one in, one out scheme, where Britain would send migrants coming into the UK back, they'd send them back to France, and then we'd get someone else from France coming our way. You might say, oh, that doesn't make sense because it's one in, one out. That doesn't make the numbers go down. But if this genuinely was implemented properly, an individual asylum seeker is going to think, I'm not going to pay thousands and thousands to get on this boat to England because I'll probably just be sent back afterwards, right? So you can see how it possibly could, over time, bring the numbers down. I don't have trust that this would happen and be executed correctly, but I see the merit to the plan. But the backbenchers who just rebelled against the welfare plan, they're thinking, well, we can have a go again. And amongst the rebellious MPs, we have, of course, got Clive Lewis. Anyone who knows anything about Clive Lewis, MP, will know that he's not really one to just, sit quietly and not kick off about anything. He says Labour should have a practical, humane policy, but any sense of a logical process that is based on human rights, basically what a Labour government would be traditionally expected to do, is now out of the window. Tony Benn was right. If you want to know what your government would do to you if they could get away with it, look at how they treat asylum seekers. That's what you saw this week with disabled people, and you're seeing it again with this. Pretty strong words there. And, wouldn't it be easier if we had Donald Trump in charge? Look at what they have put together. They built this place in, I believe, about a week or even less than a week. They put this place together in just a few days. This is in the Everglades in Florida, which is like a huge nature reserve that is full of alligators and all sorts of dangerous animals. As you can see there, you are surrounded by this moat. You can see the alligators, okay? You want to escape this place. You can see they've got fences, but they've got a second line of defense, which is this moat full of alligators. And even if you were to jump over the fence and walk across the little bridge where that runway is, there's no way out other than by plane, or to go through, as you can see, the miles and miles and miles of wilderness, which is full of dangerous animals, alligators, and whatnot. Keir Starmer would never do this. And even if he wanted to, you think that the backbench rebels would allow something like this? Absolutely no chance. We've got a photo of one of the officers who's going to be keeping the migrants in line at Alligator Alcatraz. Oh, the joys of AI. And let's just take a look at the inside of Alligator Alcatraz as Trump talks about it.
And it's a great honor to be deep in Florida, the Florida Everglades, to open America's newest migrant detention center. It's incredibly built, and you're seeing that yourself. That's why I said let the press join us on our walk so they can see what's happening. It's known as Alligator Alcatraz, which is very appropriate because I looked outside and it's
brilliant.
Not a place I want to go hiking anytime soon. But very soon,
yeah, you wouldn't want to be hiking out there with all those gators.
Migrants, some of the most vicious people on the planet. We're surrounded by miles of treacherous swampland, and the only way out is really deportation. And a lot of these people are self-deported back to their country where they came from. Quite a few were amazed at actually the number.
So there we go. That is what is happening in the US. What a different approach to illegal migration. Okay, we have politicians say, oh, it's a really complicated issue. It's not easy to solve. But look at what Donald Trump has done. I can assure you, if Donald Trump was in charge of this country, the boats would not be coming. They would not be coming. Look what he did with Colombia in his first week in office, where he said to Colombia, you need to take all your migrants back. And they said no. And he said, okay, fine, well, you're going to have huge tariffs on all your goods. And then straight away, within a couple of hours, they were like, oh no, don't worry, we'll take them all. We'll even send you a plane to bring the migrants back to us. Okay, That's the kind of negotiating skills Trump has. That's the tenacity that he has. Meanwhile, we have got, with our Labour government, we have got these backbenchers wanting to rebel. You know, we've got the 60 million quid being given to them for legal aid. It's just crazy. What a different world we're living in. But anyway, that is the latest on the crazy channel saga and the backbench rebels in this country. I'm Chloe Dobbs. Thank you for watching this video. Make sure you subscribe to Reasoned if you haven't already so you don't miss out on any more videos. See you next time.